2020, I started a brand new online business that did $2 million in its first year. And over the course of the last 4 years, done a little over $4 million through dropshipping and e-commerce. And today I'm going to be breaking down exactly how I did it and tell you exactly how I would do it today if I had to restart from scratch. And to give you guys the best context possible, I want to jump in and illustrate my entire story, how I started this journey at 18 years old with $1,200 to my name. So the story starts around high school. I was making some very interesting decisions, having a little bit too much fun on the weekends and bringing that fun into the weekdays, if you understand what I'm saying. I was at a really confused stage in my life, but I knew that there was something that I wanted to strive for. And at this time during high school, I worked a lot of jobs over the years, but currently I was doing door-to-door sales, setting up appointments for a solar company. I was really following Tai Lopez and everything he would do very closely. I was on his Snapchat story, watching his YouTube videos of book recommendations and all that stuff. So as I'm doing my door-to-door, I'd be listening to audiobooks that he recommended, and I was really reading every single day and taking life very seriously and trying to transition from the current place I was in. My door-to-door sales job was awful, but I kept doing it until I was going into college. And going to college was a huge eye-opener for me in realizing that the traditional path is just something that I really cannot handle. Having a traditional job was very hard for me. I used to work at Red Robin and I would literally have panic attacks in the back room on weekends, bussing tables, absolutely horrible. And school was even worse for me, honestly. My main problem stemmed from someone else being in control of my life and me having to do things that I just truly don't care about. But on the flip side, when I do care about what I'm doing and I am interested in what I'm learning, I excel very hard. And knowing this, I decided to drop out of college, quit my door-to-door sales job, also because it was winter and I was not gonna go knock doors in the Utah snow. And I decided to purchase Tai Lopez's social media marketing agency course, and that's what really got everything started for me, and I'm sure a lot of people can resonate with that if they were following him during that time.
Here in my garage, just bought this
So I quit my job, had $1,200 in the bank, spent $1,000 of it on Tai Lopez's course, started reading every single day, and started up my social media marketing agency, which did horrible. The first client I landed was Giants Jewelry. I think that's how you say it. It's a South Jordan jewelry company, and I basically was going door to door to different businesses and asking if they do Facebook ads or if they're interested in running social media ads. Landed him as a client. I did some photography for him, took some cool pictures, did some social media posts that I made on Canva, tried to run some ads, but ultimately did nothing. I got no results for this guy, maybe made a couple $100, and I decided to quit my social media marketing agency pretty early. And the main reason for that was, even though I was running my own business, I was still at mercy of the person that I'm running advertisements for. The service-based industry just was not for me, so I had to find something different. And during this time, I'm really starting to learn about e-commerce, drop shipping, and Amazon FBA. So I purchased my next course, which was Tanner J. Fox, not the scooter, a different guy, that had a course on Amazon selling and how to run a huge Amazon store. So I started up my next business, which was the Bounty beer bottle cooler. And here's a fun little video of me trying to market that.
I know y'all crack and open a cold one with the boys. Make sure you use the Bounty beer bottle cooler, alright? Send you a link, go purchase and review, bitch.
I guess that was me at 18 years old. I don't know who that guy was, but we started selling those on Amazon. We had some friends give us some reviews. We got our listing to the front page of Amazon when you type in beer bottle cooler, which was huge, and we did $9,000 in our first month in revenue. This was with my friend Damon, but ultimately summer was ending and we had a seasonal product, so I was scared to purchase more inventory knowing that winter was coming and our sales would hit a huge decline. I spent another month or two searching for another product, but ultimately got interested in drop shipping, thanks to my good friend Hayden Bowles. So I ditched my Amazon FBA business and started drop shipping women's boho rings, which was super random and was a huge failure. But then I created my second store, which was my first big success. So if we back it up a little bit, during this entire time of dropping out of college and right after high school, I was running a Twitter fashion page called City_Streetwear. And during this time, this is when streetwear was getting huge, right? When Yeezy was popping off, Virgil Abloh with Off-White, and everyone just kind of fell in love with streetwear. I grew my Twitter page to around 40,000 followers, and it was really cool. I made a bunch of friends with all the other people that ran fashion pages, and we created what's called a tweet deck, which basically gave us access to everyone's account. So if I made a new post, I would get all their accounts to retweet my post, and when they had a new post, they would use my account to retweet it as well. So we all had a huge following. The total tweet deck probably had like 1.2 million followers spread through like 16 accounts, and people started hitting me up for promotion of their product. So how that would work is someone would pay me basically $20 and I would retweet their post, my account, and all the accounts that are in the tweet deck. Since we had such a large following on Twitter in like 2016, 2017, there were some pretty big celebrities that would actually pay us to utilize this following. We had ASAP 12 pay us. I also worked with Ian Connor a little bit, which was super crazy. Basically what happened is I saw that these people were getting a huge amount of interaction and views from our tweet deck. And this is the time I was starting to drop ship. So I ditched my boho ring store and created a men's fashion store. Utilizing the free marketing from our huge following, I was able to hit $1,000 days pretty quickly. The store name was Simple Selections. The overall branding idea was, hey, if you don't know fashion, here's some simple selections of what's in right now. And I scoured AliExpress for products that were similar to what I was already posting on my Twitter page. On Cyber Monday, I made my first $1,000 day and everything took off from here. If you fast forward a couple months, Twitter was kind of starting to die out and Instagram was really popping off. So I then started a men's fashion page on Instagram. This page was called Urbane Home, which is, I believe, Italian for urban man. And I really started posting a lot of like classy outfits, a lot of tattoos. And this is kind of when we went from streetwear to the more grungy style fashion that was also a little classy. I don't know, I really liked this stage of fashion. So I opened up an Instagram account and things really took off. I reached out to a bunch of other fashion pages that had huge followings and I would pay them to post images that I found and they would tag me and just basically give me a paid shout out. And I grew my following to 180,000 in under a year. And of course, the entire time I was drop shipping them products just like I was doing from Twitter. And this is when things went really crazy. I was starting to hit $3,000 and $4,000 days. And in December 2018, I hit an $80,000 month. And around this time, some celebrities were starting to take notice of my fashion page. People like Tana Mojo reach out, not sure if that's how you say your name, a ton of EDM artists, some old Vine kids, and a ton of other fashion influencers. Life was starting to look good, things were taking off, and this was kind of my breakthrough I made it moment. My posts were getting around 40 to 50,000 likes. I was getting free marketing and profit margins were absurd. And as I'm getting these huge profit margins, I started looking into Facebook advertisements and really learning some in-depth strategies. I newfound success and a ton of American Express points. I decided to book a trip to Italy by myself to go get my first tattoo, which was this one. Honestly, just bodied that pizza in like 3 minutes. But back to the Italy trip. I didn't bring it up as a weird flex. It's a pretty big key part of the story. So during this time, my Facebook ads are really popping off and I'm trying to keep my Instagram page healthy by not spam posting my dropshipping store all the time. So when I went to Italy, on my way home, I logged into my Facebook ads to check them. And for some reason, when I'm on the plane in Italy, there's some weird issue. It sees my location and bans me from Facebook ads. I have no clue what happened. I talked to someone and they said whenever they go on trips, they keep a USA VPN on, so Facebook ad account's okay. I had no clue, so I lost that Facebook ad account, and here's a little video. All right, guys, after 1 year of building up this clothing brand, spending tons of money, all this shit, Facebook decides to close out my ad account, so we have to restart everything, and that's what I'm doing today. Rip Urbane Home. So after all of that, I had to rebrand my Instagram account to a new name, which was called Excluded Studios, so I could make a brand new store, brand new Facebook ad account, and continue. And thankfully, my success continued with this store. I started branching away a little bit from the clothing and started getting into more accessories. I was selling products like this. These phone cases did a ton. I probably sold like 20,000 phone cases. I still did some clothing like this shirt. Our picture ad on Instagram had over 100,000 likes. I actually had a large EDM artist reach out and they offered me backstage passes to Lost Lands, which is some huge EDM music festival in Ohio. I went there and actually ended up meeting my current girlfriend. A couple days after that music festival, I went to Japan and life was just amazing. During this time, I was making more money than I've ever made.
I'm never gonna address nothing. Y'all believe what y'all wanna believe.
month. And my virtual assistant started to notice how much I was growing. And he asked if I wanted to get connected with someone else that he runs a store for. It's doing 7 figures a month. Obviously I said yes and ended up paying this guy $10,000 for a month of one-on-one coaching with virtual calls, him jumping into my store, changing things, and showing me his exact advertising strategies. That was honestly the best $10,000 I've ever spent in my life. After seeing his business model and what he does, I stopped my current store, changed absolutely everything, and started following his methods. What's funny is he was also doing fashion, but he was doing the more adult, dapper, office wear type formal fashion. So I started up my biggest store to date, Street Style Men. This was right at the start of 2020, so during quarantine, this is all I worked on. Utilizing the new strategies and testing around 12 products a day, my store really started popping off. February of 2020, I started with $0 in sales, and by July that same year, I hit $340,000 in sales in 1 month. And in the first year of this store, did over $2 million in sales. Utilizing these new ad strategies, my profit margins were insane. And just in that month in July, I walked home with around $70,000 in profit. And just for fun, here's some of my top selling products from Street Style Men. But everything came to an end in August 2020 when my Facebook ad account got banned again. This time I was permanently blacklisted from Facebook, and still to this day I've never run a Facebook ad since. So now without Facebook ads, I really had no clue what to do because I couldn't really dropship anymore. So I decided to get into cryptocurrency. And with my luck, this was the start of the bull market. From getting into crypto, within 4 to 5 months, I turned a $70,000 initial investment into over $550,000. Keep in mind, that's in a couple of months. So during the rest of the quarantine, I basically sat and played Warzone every single day for like 9 hours a day, making what some people make in a year in a single day.
Right here, bro.
Oh shit!
How do you know?
Jordan? Wow.
And ultimately, it was a really unsatisfying time in my life, which sounds insane to say. But I had literally nothing to work for, and I kind of started getting down on myself because I had all this money, the world was shut down, I couldn't travel, and I just played video games all day, and I felt really kind of trapped in my own head, and I didn't work at all for like over half a year. And around this time is when the bull market was ending, and my portfolio of $500,000 quickly turned back to the starting point of $70,000 within like 2 months. Now I'm really feeling like shit. After around 2 months, I got over it, chalked it up as the universe giving me a wake-up call, and decided to do whatever it takes to get back into dropshipping. Ultimately, I could never get Facebook ads going again. I tried using all these different strategies, proxies, VPNs, fake accounts, everything you name it. And to my luck, the TikTok ad platform opened up. TikTok ads became an absolute gold rush. Starting a TikTok advertisement today is like running Facebook ads back in 2014, which basically brings us to the modern day. The first store I made with TikTok ads absolutely crushed it, and that was this year, strictly through TikTok ads. After seeing how insane TikTok ads were and how easy it was to see success, I decided to make a course to teach people how I'm doing it. The course I made really started getting traction, and students were getting some insane results. My first student ever, Sebastian, within this year alone, started his first store, has already climbed to 7 figures in sales. If that doesn't show you this insane opportunity with TikTok ads, I don't know what will. And I decided to start an energy drink company called Void Energy. Go give me a follow on TikTok if you want to see how that's going. That journey is going to be absolutely insane and is going to cost me multiple 6 figures just to even get this started. So now that we're back to the modern day, let's jump into how I would start a dropshipping store today utilizing TikTok ads. Now, your first step is locating a killer product. Your product is gonna have to fit a very specific criteria. It's gonna need to sell for at least $30, highly suggest $40. It needs to be an evergreen product, meaning it's not seasonal, like you don't wanna sell a summer only product or a winter only product, because then you can't create an everlasting brand out of it. Next is if your product solves a problem for people, they're gonna be way more inclined to buy it, and it's gonna make your advertisements way easier to turn a profit. Next, you wanna find a product that has a wow factor, something people haven't seen before, or when someone first sees it, they're very intrigued. country. Next, if your product is really lightweight, that's gonna help you with cheaper shipping costs, as well as small. If your product can fit in your hand, that's gonna be the best case scenario. Next, I try to avoid products that are electronic or products that are like ingested. You don't wanna have products that could cause some weird health issues, or if it's electronic, you don't want something that could break and you have a ton of returns. Also avoid glass or anything like crazy fragile. Now, the next step is your branding needs to be absolutely amazing. You need to tell a story to people and be speaking to a very specific group of people who are gonna be the most interested in the product you're trying to sell. Next, you really need to not process through AliExpress. Find a 3PL company. I'll link the one I use in the description below. What a 3PL is a third-party logistics company. These are gonna be the people that source your product, test it for quality, and they can ship it around the world in around 7 to 12 days in most major countries. Definitely don't use AliExpress. Next, you really need to position your brand and the store that you're creating for the long term. Think as long as you can. What other products am I gonna sell? What influencers am I gonna work with? What other advertising platforms am I gonna utilize? And how could I position this drop shipping store to turn into a 7-figure brand with real products, holding inventory, and warehouses in the United States? When you're first getting started with your store, put 1000% of your focus on TikTok advertisements. It's the lowest barrier to entry on any advertising platform I've ever seen. Hitting success on it is truly not hard as an unexperienced advertiser. Once you see success on TikTok, you can even pay an advertising agency to do Facebook ads for you, Google, YouTube, etc. At this point, if your store is seeing a ton of success, you want to start shifting your focus onto influencers very heavily. And hopefully by this point, you have enough of a profit to start purchasing your products in wholesale, getting them branded, and finding a 3PL in the United States that can ship out your products for pretty cheap. Next, you really need to focus on UGC and content creation. When you're running TikTok advertisements, video ads do very good, but the performance doesn't last too long. Your ads can start fizzling and dying out within a week or two, so you need to constantly be cranking in new videos to keep getting a ton of sales. Also, make sure you're using the American Express Gold Card, the Chase Ink card for all of your advertising costs. This is gonna get you a ton of American Express points. I've easily made over 5 million points in the last couple years, which is around $50,000 in free flights, hotels, and all that. When you're just getting started, it's gonna be scary spending a lot of money on ads, but I promise you, the more you spend, the more you learn, and the more potential you have for a huge return on your investment. So don't be too scared on spending a lot on ads if you're utilizing a proven ad strategy. And lastly, have faith in yourself, keep a positive, abundant attitude, and never focus on lack, fear, or doubt. There are countless people making 6 and 7 figures on their drop shipping stores every single month. E-commerce as a whole is a $1 trillion industry. You and me making 6 figures online is absolute breadcrumbs in comparison to the size of this industry. Everyone is purchasing products online. Jeff Bezos is profiting around $5 million a day from Amazon. I promise there's enough room for you to have a successful store. And if you guys want to learn my exact strategies for dropshipping and how I pivot and turn dropshipping stores into real brands, shoot me a DM on Instagram, or you can apply to join my coaching program with the links in the description. I love you guys.